Welcome back. Today we are doing a perfume rotation video. I know you guys like these ones and I am going to make an effort to do them a little bit more often throughout this year. Originally the idea was that I was going to do them every month and change up the perfumes every month, but what I was finding was that I was selecting too many perfumes for the rotation and then I was just taking ages to sort of work through them all. So this time I'm trying to keep it a little bit more concise and we will see if I get a little bit more use out of the fragrances that I actually pick for the rotation. If you're new here, then welcome. My name is Cherie. I talk mostly about perfumes on this channel, but sometimes I throw in a few other random things as well. The format of this video is normally that I'm upstairs in my bedroom and I'm putting the perfumes in the cabinet and showing you what's going in the cabinet. I'm not doing that today because we do have visitors today and they're all upstairs. Okay, so on rough count, I think I have 23 perfumes here, give or take one or two, depending on if I counted things twice or missed something. I also have one disclaimer on this, and that is that in my perfume cabinet, if you've seen my previous perfume cabinet rotation videos, you will know that a lot of my Amouage fragrances sit on the top shelf. They are not moving. They stay there all the time because I always want to reach for an Amouage randomly throughout the week. So I do keep sort of the Amouage fragrances in the collection all the time, and then I just rotate out other things, which might sound a bit weird, but I just like having them there. I like having them at hand, and I'm pretty much always in the mood for an Amouage fragrance. So the other thing I probably should call out, even though most of you already know this, but I am Australian, as you can probably tell by my accent. So we are in the Southern Hemisphere. It's summer, the weather's really hot. I live in sort of southern Queensland, which is the subtropics. So we do get quite humid, hot weather over the summer. And my fragrance choices are probably reflected in this. We do still have some cooler evenings sometimes throughout the summer, because we do get a lot of storms over this time of year. So I find that I can get away with, slightly heavier fragrances sometimes in the evening, and I usually throw one or two of those in just in case. So first one that I'm adding to the rotation for this month is Fleur de Peau by Diptyque. This is a really lovely musky orris scent. It also has some aldehydes in here. It's very clean, it's very fresh, it's not too powdery. It's fantastic for hot days. It lasts really well on me, and I love wearing this to work, and I just love it whenever I want to feel clean and fresh, basically. So that is Fleur de Peau. So next up I'm bringing a Chanel back into the rotation. This is number 22 from the Les Exclusives line. This is a really beautiful aldehydic fragrance, very clean, quite soapy. You do get some florals in here, but they are florals in the very aldehydic sense. It's a little bit vintage smelling. I sort of get old Hollywood glam from this type of fragrance, and I absolutely adore it. I just feel like this one has something a little bit different over, say, the number 5, which I find to be, again, more floral and possibly a little bit more of an ambery twist to that one compared to the number 22. This one to me is just straight up soapy aldehydes. It's great. So next up is one that I'm bringing into the rotation in a way to test whether or not I still want it. This is one that I bought on a trip to Spain a few years ago. I bought this in Barcelona, and it holds a special place in my heart because I bought it on that trip. It was a rash purchase. I didn't really think that much about it. I think I was really drawn to the packaging. It's kind of a popular scent profile, even though it's not typically the thing that I would have gravitated towards. But I think that's what I liked about it, because we were on holiday and we were in a new country, and I was feeling adventurous to try new things. And so the fragrance is Cassiopeia by Tiziana Terenzi. And I mean, the packaging is just beautiful. Weighs a ton, and when you buy these, there's another lid that comes in the packet. All the weight is in this lid. It's super, super heavy. This is a very fruity, sweet, creamy type of fragrance. It's quite tropical leaning. I feel like it's got passion fruit in there, but I also get sort of tropical fruits. So it's kind of juicy in the top, but it has a really creamy, musky base. And what I do like about this fragrance is that even though it opens quite fruity with that passion fruit and that sort of tropical juice, tropical cocktail kind of vibe, the fruitiness does die down quite substantially and you get more of a woody, musky, vanillic base coming through towards the end. So for that reason, I think it's been hard for me to let it go, because even though that opening doesn't really feel like the type of fragrance that I personally would wear, it does sort of settle a little bit into something that is more wearable to me. But at the same time, the dry down of this possibly isn't as memorable as the opening, if you know what I mean. It's not as unique. So I'm in two minds with this one, and I'm, trying to force myself to wear it so that I can really make a call, because last year was my no-buy year. This year will probably be the year where I start to really narrow down what it is that in my perfume wardrobe that I really love, and maybe start to cull out some of the excess and the things that I don't really reach for that much. The next one is another one that I'm not sure is my favorite. I mean, I do enjoy wearing it, but this one I think Matt really likes on me, so I tend to wear it knowing that he will like it. But the more I wear this, the more I enjoy it, but I'm still not certain it's a love for me. And this is Tuberose 2 Virginal by Histoire de Parfum. Obviously, it's a tuberose fragrance. This has quite a bit of sweetness to it, and there is a cherry note in here. So one of the very few fragrances in my wardrobe that actually has a cherry note. And I think that's possibly why I have trouble wearing this one. The reason I ended up with this, if you haven't already heard the story that I've said probably 5 times already on this channel, I meant to order Tuberose 1, but I ordered Tuberose 2 by mistake. So it was just a mistake. I'd ordered directly from Histoire de Parfum in France, so there's no way for me to send it back to them. So I just thought, well, it was my mistake, so I'm gonna wear it. No pun intended. Yeah, so it's a very sort of watery tuberose fragrance. It's not really thick or creamy. It also feels like it has some yellow florals in there as well, but you definitely sort of get this fruity, this dark sort of sultry, fruity cherry vibe in the top. It all feels very clarified and not creamy, as I said. So it's a nice one to wear in summer because it is kind of translucent and light and watery, but it also has really good longevity. So that is Tuberose 2 by Histoire de Parfum. I've just switched to a lav mic because there's some power tools that have just started up, and I'm trying to minimize the impact of that on the audio. So hopefully this works. The next bottle is a bottle that I got for free. In January last year, before I started my no-buy, which didn't start until February, Goldfield and Banks were running a special deal over the New Year period, I think on New Year's Day, where if you bought a full-size bottle of anything from their range, they would send out a whole bottle of this for free. So I was already planning to buy Matt a bottle of Pacific Rock Moss because he really likes that. I had a travel size of this particular perfume prior to getting this bottle, so I thought it was worthwhile to buy Pacific Rock Moss when I could get a bottle of this for free. And this is Southern Bloom. This is based off the Boronia flower, the Australian Boronia flower. The Boronia flower is quite common to Western Australia in particular, and I think also Tasmania. And it's like a really nostalgic smell for me because I loved Boronias when I was a child and I loved the smell of them. And that is what this smells like. Effectively, it's really, really beautiful. It's a very floral dominant scent, and it's kind of, I guess you could say it probably leans also a little bit vintagey. So if you don't like vintage floral fragrances, then this may not be for you, but I do find it's quite creamy, it's quite earthy as well. There's a real earthy tone to this, but it's also fresh. It's like a fresh floral to me. So I really enjoy this, and I look forward to actually giving this bottle some wear. I've barely touched it since I bought it, So I think bringing it in the rotation will help with that. Next up is a bottle that I did receive in PR last year, and I'm laughing because I remember when I first saw these bottles on social media and I was thinking, they look so gaudy. I just thought it's not a bottle, it's not a look that appeals to me at all. But actually in person, I kind of like it. So this is Amber Rouge by Orientica. You probably can't see, it's too reflective, I think. Yeah, this is the one that's a dupe for Baccarat Rouge 540, which I'm not really that much of a fan of. Some people are saying that this is the dupe of the X-Ray, and other people are saying it's just a dupe of the normal one. I think it kind of sits somewhere in between both of those. I don't think it's a straight up dupe of the X-Straight, because I actually have grown to appreciate the X-Straight version, but I can't afford to buy a bottle of it. I have a 10ml decant that my friend gave me. This does have a little bit more of those saffrony, pencil shaving, woody kind of bent to it that I kind of associate with the Baccarat Rouge 540. So to me, this kind of sits somewhere in between the two in terms of, so it's not, I don't think this is a straight up dupe of either of them, but it's kind of like a dupe of both of them, if that makes any sense. In any case, I just thought I might throw it in there to see if I get any wear out of it and if it's something that I actually use. But this is just not something that I've ever really been drawn to that much previously. So I'm curious to know if I enjoy wearing this one.